Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Red Devil Experience. My name is Eric. Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1. We're going to break down the match. United finally get 3 points. Feels like it's been a while. We got a win at home. The game was a bit unconventional. It was a bit weird. Obviously, the red card in the first 5 minutes changed the whole game. We'll never know, what it would have been like 11v11 for probably the whole match, even though it did get evened up later on by Casemiro. Couple things that we got to talk about. Ruben and his decision making in the match. I am happy with the 3 points, and I'm happy that we won. But there's some concerns in there, some decisions making from Amorim that I'm not happy with. A couple aspects from the team as well. We're gonna do live player ratings. We're gonna do all that stuff. So make sure you smash the like button, and if you're new, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell icon so you don't miss a live when we go live. But other than that, let's just get straight into basically my thoughts on the match, and then we'll get to the chat. So make sure you get in the comments as well. Share your opinions. Get involved in the live chat. But yeah, I mean, listen, the match was a bit weird in terms of it was just sort of an unconventional match. I mean, it was pouring down rain. That's one thing. Obviously, the red card in the beginning of the match changed the whole match. I mean, 5 minutes in, red card, which obviously 100% a red card, of course. But yeah, listen, we scored 2 goals. We're up a man, and I think we did okay in that aspect. But to be fair, and to be honest, as I always am, we didn't. I didn't feel like we did enough when we were up 10 men. I think we needed to do more. I think we needed to push more. And I felt a little bit disappointed in the team, in the way, the tempo from our side. I think we had to do more when we were up a man. I don't think we did enough. And really in that sort of match, we should have went on to get 3 in the first half, end the game. And it's that sort of match where, realistically, I mean, the way we were really putting the pressure on, the way Chelsea was really, overcome by that sort of stuff. It's something that we probably should have scored more goals. Now, obviously, Casemiro getting sent off leveled back up the game and changed it back. And, I see there's a lot of discrepancies in terms of, people are blaming Amorim for it. Some people are blaming Casemiro for it. I think in this situation, we should probably share the blame on this one, because, I mean, us knowing Casemiro, you just knew. You knew when he got the yellow. You knew that he was somehow going to end up getting sent off. You just knew. I wasn't there with you watching the match, but I just know that everybody knows that while you were watching the match, you just got that feeling that as soon as Casemiro got that yellow card, you just knew there was a second one somewhere was going to happen. And Lyle says, have we ever won the game without stress? No, because we're Manchester United, and we always do it the most difficult possible way. We literally never, ever make it easy for ourselves. Even when we won the treble, we didn't make it easy for ourselves. We did it in the most impossible way. But listen, it's good that we got the 3 points. Amorim is a bit lucky, and it says that in the thumbnail, and I'm going to explain why in a little bit. But there's a couple, things that we got to talk about, the performances as well of the players. Listen, for me, Matthias de Ligt was absolutely a rock back there today. I think if we didn't have him back there, and he wasn't playing, and thank God that, so far he's been injury-free, because, he was a bit injured a couple times last season, and we missed him a few games. I think without De Ligt, we would be in big trouble back there. I think De Ligt is just, listen, I'm just going to spoil it right off the bat. He was my man of the match. I don't know if anybody else has a different man of the match. We'll get into that soon. But I think he was superb today. I do. And he was just literally everywhere, doing everything. I liked that the whole Maguire playing in the center and De Ligt playing right center back and De Ligt going up. and getting more involved in the attack. I think he has sort of those qualities for it, and we know that he can score a header as well. He didn't do it today, but he does have a good head on him. So yeah, I kind of like that aspect. Makes me kind of think twice of maybe should we be playing him in center, as I dubbed it, center back. Although the people would just say center back, but sounds boring. Center back is way better. It's way better. So Box is here. Says says we are back. Well, for the people that are here, you know, give me your thoughts, give me your feelings on the performance. You could go individual, you could go from a team aspect. Also, I want to hear what you think about Ruben. I want to hear what you think about the decisions he made today, the changes he made. How do you feel about the Casemiro situation? Do you blame Ruben more than Casemiro? Do you blame Casemiro more than Ruben? Because people are blaming Ruben for not taking Casemiro off when he got that yellow. So that's definitely a talking point. But yeah, I mean, listen, on the basic level, we can be happy because we got 3 points and we got a win. We are now, I believe, in 9th place, and we're basically 3 points off of 3rd place. So we're back in sort of a better position, better in contention, you know, in terms of sitting in a league position. Now we move to the next match, and we got to, you know, at this point, we've all said it and we all know we got to take it one match at a time. It was good because, you know, he could have lost this match or we could have drew, and it would have not been looking so great in the table. But now it's looking a little bit better, being 3 points off of 3rd. And now, you know, it's to next week, and hopefully we go out and we get the win that we need, and he gets the 3 points because none of these matches are really easy, but obviously the big one is at the end of this 5-match span, Chelsea kicking it off, which is Liverpool, which is going to be the toughest and most difficult one, obviously. So we got to try and get as many points because, listen, it's a derby, you don't know, but we're certainly underdogs, and we need to get as many points as possible in between that time, because brace yourself for a loss at that one. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Finny, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize. I try my best. I suck with names, but I'll just call you Eco or Echo. Eco says Sesko should have stayed on, but Ahmad would be subbed off. Well, yeah, I've seen a lot of people talking about that as well. And listen, at the time when he did it, I was trying to make sense of it, because when he, obviously you knew the change was coming because we couldn't have just one midfielder in the midfield, and obviously you had to make the change and reshape. But I kind of figured when he took Sesko off, I thought he was just going to do the move of take the striker out position completely and just leave the rest of the formation the way it is. So basically just play without a striker, and then move Ugarte into the midfield and just kind of play with no striker and play with 2 10s. But he didn't do that. He reshifted it and made a 3, and then put Mbeumo as the striker. Now, clearly, the way it went after that, right? It was the wrong decision. I agree with Echo here, because we had a 6'5" or 6'2", however tall he is. He's tall. He's taller than literally everybody. He's got a good jump on him, and he's got a good header. I think what was really working well for us in the first half was that kick the long ball to Sesko and let Sesko head it down to one of our players so we retain possession. And when you get to the second half, and it's level now in terms of number of players on the pitch, you know Chelsea are going to go up for it. You know they're going to press more. You know they're going to get more of the possession. They're going to have a go. And I think what hurt us, and this is why I'm talking about Amorim was a little bit lucky in these things, because I think he got a couple things wrong today, and I think he sort of got away with it a little bit, to be quite honest. And I think one of those things was Sesko. I think when we took Sesko off, the second half, yeah, the numbers got evened out, but we were kind of missing that outlet. You know, Chelsea put the pressure on us. We were still kicking the ball long, but, you know, we were basically kicking the ball back to Chelsea. If we had Sesko there, I think we could have done a lot better in terms of retaining possession when we did get the ball back from Chelsea pressuring us in our own half and in our own box. So, I think that was sort of something that he did, that he tried, that didn't work well. I don't think it worked necessarily well. I think he sort of got that wrong. And it was a bit strange. And also just the fact that, like, he went defense, you know what I mean? He went super defense at one point, and it just... Listen, I understand you're trying to manage the game. I get it. And listen, yes, at the end of the day, you can make an argument. It worked out for him. We did walk away from the match with 3 points, and we did win. So you can make that argument. But the second half, we just... there was nothing in it for us. And I just felt like... what he did with the tactical switches, it kind of played into Chelsea's hands a little bit more. And that's why I feel like we were a bit lucky, because... You're at 2-0. You know 2-0 is the worst scoreline in the world, because like Chelsea did, if they get a goal, it's immense pressure is put back on us. We seceded all possession, and I just feel like we probably could have went about it a better way. You know what I mean? So I just there's a couple other aspects that I'm going to get into individually with some players that bothered me. But yeah, and Echo, I'm sorry, I missed Echo's first chat. Echo said that blaming Casemiro sent off is still a lame as he scored as well. Well, listen, you can blame Casemiro for getting sent off. It doesn't mean you take away his goal from him. He did score a good goal. And I don't think it might hurt his score in the player ratings a little bit, but for me, I kind of blame a little bit of both. I don't know if that's the boring approach. I don't know, maybe I should be hyperbolic like some of the other guys on the other channels with the bigger audience. Maybe that's why they get a bigger audience, because they're there screaming and shouting at somebody specific. But I think you could probably blame both. And I blame both because, listen, you got Cass there. You know how the game is going. I think you should be a little bit cautious. You got Ugarte there. You can put him in. Maybe he would have made the change at halftime. I'm not sure. We don't really know. Maybe he gets asked about it. But I think you could have done well. In terms of the way we were playing, Cass is a little bit exposed with Bruno playing there. He doesn't have the legs. And there's always that feeling of, that, maybe he gets caught out and a second yellow is going to come. At the same time, I blame Casemiro because, he's supposed to be the experienced guy, yeah? And as a manager, you would trust your experienced player to not be sort of stupid about it. I don't think there was really a reason for Cass to do what he did. I don't even actually think it was actually a second yellow. I mean, we could argue that, but I think the challenge, I don't even think warrants a yellow card. Now, maybe it warrants a yellow because he's on a yellow, so it warrants a second yellow. But I think if Cass isn't on a yellow, I don't think he actually gets a yellow for that. So, but, he shouldn't be making those things. I expect better in terms of being smarter, in terms of you are 30, how old is he? 32? 33. He's a very experienced player. He should know better. He should know that the ref is probably always sort of looking to kind of even things up. Even though it wasn't, it wasn't the ref's fault why Chelsea got a red card. But, they sort of look for those things. So, yeah. Lyle says double on Premier League and FA Cup. Let's not get excited. Let's not get excited too much. Box is agreeing, says the double is on. Lyle says, how can they blame Ruben, though? Wasn't it 2 quick yellows? Nah, I don't think it was that. I don't think it was 2 quick yellows. I think there was a good enough time in between. He had a yellow. I don't know. I think people are blaming Ruben a little bit because we're a lot more familiar with Casemiro than I think Ruben is. So I think... I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Cass has gotten sent off while Ruben has been manager. Yeah, I think that was the first time, because Casemiro has been sent off 4 times while he's been at United. Now, we as fans, watching him since he's been here, I think we're a little bit more of the mindset of we all knew that he was probably going to end up getting sent off somehow, some way, because it's Casemiro, and he finds a way to do it. Even though sometimes egregiously in the past, you know, I think one or two of them he didn't deserve the red card, but it's just kind of that stigma of Cass is the one that is the most likely to get sent off. Yeah. And I think Ruben, obviously going for the experience, I think he entrusted probably his experienced player to not do something dumb, to at least finish out the first half, so that he didn't have to waste, you know, a substitution period in the second half. So Ruben would have the freedom to make 3 different periods of substitutions. I think that's also why you saw the fact that, you know, after he did get sent off, he didn't put on the midfielder, which he did risk it a little bit because, you know, but I think he entrusted the players to, you know, pick up the slack a little bit, drop a little bit back, see out the first half so that he can make the substitution and have 3 substitution periods in the second half. Chad says this game doesn't count. Red card and no Palmer, no Neto. Garnacho could have threatened. Chelsea's manager was their best. Well, listen, I get what you mean by it doesn't count, but it does count in a certain aspect because it's 3 points. And as far as the manager and, you know, probably a lot of our fans are concerned, we got the win and we got 3 points. So it counts in the table for sure. But in terms of judging how well we would have done and sort of the response and, you know, in terms of having a normal game, I get why it doesn't actually count because it just wasn't a normal game. It wasn't. It wasn't. Like, the way the game went, it wasn't. I mean, Maresca making the changes. But listen, I don't even really accept that, you know, Chad. I mean, Maresca didn't have to do the changes he did. I mean, he went really, really defensive. And that's on him, and if that's something he wants to do. But listen, the red card did affect the game. It changed the whole game, especially when there's a red card literally that early in the match. So it's not one where we can really measure our team versus a Chelsea team that's, you know, a top 4 team. We can't measure it to the full capabilities, but, you know, you can measure it to a certain extent because it did get evened out at some point. Yeah, they're missing players, but we still had to do a job. We gave up a goal. We could have gave up another one. We could have bottled it, really. And maybe we were close to doing that. But I don't think you can just completely 100% cancel it out. But, you know, you may have the understanding that listen, it wasn't a normal match and there was different circumstances, so it's a different, it's you know, it's a bit different. It's not a regular match. Chad says road to 40 points, baby. Box says Bruno with an imperious captain's display. Well, thing about Bruno is he did score. He did get on the goal sheet. It was a good goal, and it was good movement, and it was good passage of play as well. We need more of that. I think there's times where it's not as consistent as it needs to be, and it goes sort of missing for good amounts of periods. We need to work on that sort of thing, right? But I'm going to be a bit honest. I think Bruno played good, but I don't, again, Matthijs de Ligt is my man of the match. So, you know, Bruno played better, certainly better than last match, because last match he was abysmal. But there was some things during the match, Bruno still sort of bothered me with it. I think there was a lot of times he sort of made the wrong decisions. In terms of outlet passes, I think he could have done better in that aspect. That his crossing wasn't quite great, but we have a lot of players that apparently are very shit at crossing the ball, which I still don't understand how. You know, his free kicks, set pieces weren't great either from Bruno. Now, listen, I don't know. Maybe it's raining. It affects him. I don't know. But, yeah. United Focus is here as well. It says that was one crazy game. I still firmly believe that 11v11, we wouldn't have won that game. The difference was obvious when it went 10v10. Chelsea had so much of the game, but we battled hard. Listen, I don't know. I don't think anybody can really say. I think it's a bit hard because I get the whole 10v10 thing and the numbers got even, but even the way we changed our shape, it was clear that we went defensive to try and close the game out, to see the match out, to not let them score. So I think the red cards had a big effect on the game. And I think 11v11, I think it's a bit, listen, we just don't know. We just don't know. It's a bit like the Kanye moment when he went on stage and he said, you know, everybody would like to know what I would have done if I didn't win. And then he said, I guess we'll never know, when he dropped the mic and walked off. We actually don't know. Maybe we would have still won the match. Maybe we would have lost. You know, maybe we would have lost 2-0, 3-0. I think it's a bit harsh to say, you know, with the 10v10, because even us, when we got the red card, we changed our whole thing too, and we changed our game plan, and we changed the way we were playing. Yeah, so it just, the match was not the normal Chelsea versus United match that we thought we were going to get. So I think it's a bit hard. It's a bit difficult to really say, you know, 11v11, maybe we would have lost. I don't know. The match could have went any other way. That's why you could play devil's advocate with this whole thing. I mean, before this match kicked off, yeah, people weren't feeling so confident about this. When we saw the lineup, and me including, I didn't feel so confident about it. I didn't really like the lineup. I kind of thought that we were probably gonna get an L today when I saw the lineup, yeah, because I wasn't too thrilled with the way we went about it. But that's why I've been saying in the previous shows, we just got to take it as it comes, because football is football. And when I mean by football is football, you never actually know what's going to happen in football. That's why we call it the beautiful game. That's why it is a beautiful game, because a lot of times there's a lot of surprises in football, and you think a team is going to win and they don't. And that's why we love this game. So, and nobody out there was going to call Chelsea's keeper getting a red card in the 5th minute of the match, allowing United to go up 2 goals. And then the way it played out. So, you know, going forward, you just don't know. You know, it wasn't looking that great. It's helped Ruben a little bit on the way now, because again, it stopped the snowballing a little bit. We're in a better position in the table. We're 3 points basically off of 3rd place. I mean, technically 2nd, but Arsenal still have to play tomorrow, and I expect them to sort of win. So I'm going for the 3rd place. And yeah, I mean, it didn't. The display didn't give me the utmost of confidence. There's some positives, obviously, and there's negatives. But we just got to see what happens next week in the next match. Because if we manage to win that, now we got 2 wins back on the bounce, which we haven't been able to do for, I forgot what the record is, but it's quite a sad record that we haven't been able to win back-to-back. So we have the opportunity to do it again. And let's see, because maybe we pick up a little bit of momentum from this. And we go into the Liverpool game, and maybe we get a bit fortunate and we get some good results. We got to see how it goes. We got to see how it goes. So I'm very behind. Andresito says, big up, still not enough. We got very lucky, poor game management, subs, tactics, etc., especially with an extra player. Second half was painful. And I do agree. That's sort of how I feel. I do agree with Andresito. Like, you know, it wasn't really enough. I'm happy that we got the 3 points. I'm happy that we got the win. You know, I will never not celebrate us getting 3 points. But I agree basically with, you know, the way Andresito's feeling. That's how I feel. The second half was painful. I get it. And I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to hold out and not concede. And he did go defensive. And that's because he did know that Chelsea was going to have a go. I still think he got the Sesko thing wrong, because even if you're going to go defensive, I think Sesko would have massively helped having that big guy, so that when we get the ball, we can clear it up to him. Because when we took Sesko out and we had Mbeumo there, we were still kicking the ball long, and Mbeumo was never gonna win the headers, you know, compared to Sesko. And Sesko was doing well with those things. But Sesko did have a lack of service. He had the least amount of touches on the pitch again. So that's an issue and a problem that we still need to figure out how we got to fix. Lyle says, glad to see Cunha return. Yep. Looks like he hasn't missed a beat. Well, it was good to see him back, so that's for sure. Axe is here. Box says Bruno rolled his sleeves up and led us to victory in the trenches. Well, he did. Listen, I mean, he's the captain. That's his job. That's his responsibility. That's something that he should be doing. Another point is, also, I find it a bit weird. And I know I sound like I'm criticizing a lot, but I'm just picking up things that are popping up into my head. I find it a bit strange that Bruno is never subbed off, ever. And then in a match where it's 2-1 and Bruno is our captain, yeah, he's the leader, and you subbed off Bruno Fernandes with 10 minutes left to put on Kobe. Now, I like Kobe and I want to see Kobe, but I'm just saying, in all of the matches that you don't sub Bruno off, you sub the captain off in the last 10 minutes of the match when you would want your captain and leader to stay on to see out the game. And this is what I'm saying. There were some decisions by Amorim that they were a bit weird. I don't necessarily agree with them, and I think he's a bit fortunate that it kind of went his way, because I think that they weren't the best decisions to make. So, Access, to be honest, Maresca shot himself in the foot with the substitutions. He hoped for them to take a point. He did. I think that's fair. I think it was weird that he did what he did. But listen, that's not really our problem. That's his problem. I'm not going to use that to go against our team and getting our results. He's done whatever he's done. That's on him. That's his problem to deal with. Then that's his fault. You know, I will go in on what our manager has done and what our players has done. I think that's the more important thing to focus on. Echo says, one thing Man United must do is to change set piece coach. Why are we conceding goals in set pieces, especially? I don't know how many set piece coaches we're going to go through, because we had one guy, we got this guy in. Supposedly he's better. And I don't know. I don't know. I think we've improved from when we got this guy in compared to the last guy, because the last guy was absolutely awful and we were awful. But we do have to do better, I think. We do have to do better on set pieces. Bruno's first open play goal since March, and it was in the small box. I don't care if it was... I don't care what box it was in. I don't care if it was out of the box, in the box. I don't care if he tapped it in on the goal line. It was a good goal. He made a good movement, and it was a good play. And he put the ball in the back of the net. I'm good with that. I have nothing to complain about him scoring the goal. There's nothing there. Axe says, there isn't time to blame Amorim. A win is a win. He shut my mouth this time. I don't know what would have happened at 11v11, but it doesn't matter now. And you know what? Yeah, I mean, respect to that, Axe. Respect to that, Axe. Because again, I listen, we don't agree on a lot of things, but you're always welcome to have your opinion. And I agree with the sentiment. Listen, I don't think I have to come here and tell you to shut your mouth. I don't want anybody to shut their mouth. I want people to give their opinions. But I think it's fair play that we say in reality that, you know, you say you don't know what would have happened at 11v11. I don't think anybody knows. You can make your guess and you can give your opinion on what you think would have happened. But in the reality, we just don't know. We really just don't know. So it's this match where we can't really measure the standard of the team. It's one that we just kind of got to take the 3 points and say it was a weird match, but you know what? We won. Let's be happy with that. And let's analyze other aspects of the players and the team. And let's just go to the next one and see what happens after that. And that one will probably be a normal game. I don't expect the next opponent to get a red card for us again. Lyle says, at least it was a win against one of the top 6, and Garnacho warming the bench was the cherry on top. Exactly. See, there's things to be negative about. There's things to be positive about. For sure. And not negative. Let's just say criticism, because criticism really isn't so negative. I feel negative is like finding, like really digging deep to find reasons to be sort of sour about things. Lucky says, I need us to take our aggressiveness to Brentford, Cunha, Kobe, Mainu, and midfield. Well, listen, we were aggressive in the first half, but the second half we fell flat. We looked. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. We looked like, I don't know if we looked out of gas or, I just don't know what it was, but we looked, especially like, closer to like the 65th, 70 minute, we looked very deflated in terms of the players' energy. I don't know if they were tired. I don't know if they got gassed because they wasted all their energy in sort of the first half. I don't know, but I was getting this feeling when I was watching the second half. I was just like, we look so flat now. We look so like out of energy. Whereas, there were certain aspects. I get that we're defending, but there were certain aspects in the match where it was like, I needed a bit more aggressiveness from some of the players. Like Dorgu, there was a couple moments that I can remember, like, he was a bit soft. You need to be a bit more aggressive. I didn't see, I didn't see some of the players like going hard into tackles anymore. They got a bit soft, and I was confused because at one moment it was 2-0 and Chelsea has all the possession, and they're going to try and come for a goal. And then they did score one goal, and we were still sort of soft, and I felt like we need the tempo had to be a little bit more energy. Like, I felt like the fight kind of was a little bit evaporated from us, and I was a bit worried because I felt like that was going to lead to us bottling that match, which thankfully it didn't. Andresito says Chelsea's coach was worse tonight. United won, but these cannot be our new standards. Well, listen. We got it again. I just think it's a bit difficult to really analyze this match the way we would normally. Yeah, so I think we just got to take it as for what it is. And then we'll go back to some normalcy and see what we got, because like I said the other day, I don't think Ruben's problem is not the top 6 teams. It's the teams that are not the top 6, how we perform against them and what kind of results we get against them that is going to be the determining factor. So, let's see. Lucky says score more goals. Yes, Lucky. We need to score a lot more goals. We need to be a lot more clinical for sure. Chad says, I wish I could still see the world like you. He's talking a box. I don't need to read that. Yeah, sometimes I should read before I actually read it out. Our goals are Champions League material. They were. Oh, he said championship. Nah, I say Champions League, Chad. I don't agree with you. The 2 goals were good. I think they were good goals. They were good passage of plays. Chelsea has only won 2 times at Old Trafford in 21 years in the EPL. In the Premier League, they did. That was another stat, but thankfully we kept that going. Lyle says, who's that twat from Argentina? His name is Enzo Fernandez, and he is a twat. He's a big twat. Him and Cucurella, man. I hate Cucurella. And I don't use the word hate a lot. You guys know that. If you asked me who I hate more, Cucurella or Sancho, ooh, that's a difficult one for me. I don't know. I really hate Cucurella. I hate that guy. Lucky says Eric, Mateus de Ligt, Harry Maguire, Aiden Heaven said I want us to take aggressive in the next game. Harry was imperious as well. Listen, Harry was out there basically as the second captain. He was showing good fight, good grit, leadership, aggressiveness. And he stepped up. But we know he has that. He's been showing that ever since he lost the captaincy, and he's sort of had a resurgence in his career. That was the word I was looking for. Maguire almost cost us a goal. Chelsea could have made us pay in the counter. Well, but they didn't score, and it happens. But I think he did pretty good throughout the whole match. One moment, we didn't get punished for it. That's all right. Axe says, hopefully we can build on this one. Well, yeah, I mean, that is the hope. We do need to build on this. And hopefully we can. I mean, we got to see what happens next match. Yeah. And again, I believe that, you know, it's the next match is the one that's going to be the biggest sort of indicators, for what happens with Ruben's future, and how this season's going to go. So, Box has been played well in goal today. He's an improvement on Onana for sure. Time for Lemons to be unleashed. Well, I think Lemons has a little bit more to go. I didn't expect him to start this match, and he didn't start this match. And I don't expect Lemons to just come in, especially if Binda does well in goal. I don't think Lemons is going to come in for some time. I think if Binda starts making mistakes, on a more consistent basis, then after a certain period of time, then Lemons will probably come in. But for the time being, I don't think Lemons is coming in. As of right now, like, Lemons is not going to start next match, and he's probably not going to start the match after, and he's probably not going to start the match after, unless Binda has like 2-3 calamitous games, Onana level type games in a row. I don't see Lemons coming in. I think Ruben is going to stick with Binda. And you know what? I'll give Binda credit as well. Listen, he's improved a lot on his kicking. I think you all remember quite well how many times I said the guy can't kick a ball. He literally has 2 left feet that are backwards. I think I said that last season. I said he had 2 left feet that are facing backwards. That's how bad his kicking is. I mean, he's improved bounds and leaps on the kicking. Even when the ball is passed back to him and he's a bit under pressure, I mean, that was one of his worst things. At least he could clear it long now, because he literally couldn't even do that last season. So I think that he deserves credit for that. He does. Chad says, when forwards run past Maguire in the future, all you that say he must start are part of the blame for all the future mistakes. I don't know if anybody said that he should start. I think we just said that he played a good game, and we can definitely use him. We all know that his pace is a liability, but we play in a back 3, and he excels in a back 3. I mean, and I think he played good today. So last match when he came on, he shit the bed against Manchester City and he got completely exposed. We know this. Maguire's been here for quite some time. And it is something that can happen. But I think with him playing in a back 3, I think it's helped him monumentally being less exposed. There's always still a possibility that he gets exposed with his lack of pace. But he's done well so far. X says the second half was bad on our behalf. No, it was bad. It was bad. But I think it was bad. There was a couple different reasons. I think we were always going to go and drop and be a little bit more defensive, which I don't really like. I don't like that. I don't like that sort of thing. I get it. You want to be... You want to have the shape. You want to be hard to break down. You know that the opposition is going to go for it. And so you want to be difficult, but I think we had to have a little bit more balance, because we just like the way we went so defensive. Yeah, like we just gave the attack up completely. And at 2-0, again, that scoreline is the worst scoreline. And I think we needed to give ourselves a little bit better of an opportunity to be like, yeah, we're going to go structurally defensively. And I get that, and it makes sense. But we also have to have some sort of an outlet for attack, and we just didn't. And that's why the second half was so bad, because we had nothing to offer going forward anymore once we made the changes that we made. And that's why I think to me, the Sesko thing was probably the worst decision out of all of the decisions, because I think just having Sesko there, even if we went as defensive as we did, I think Sesko being as tall as he can and being able to head the ball down to maybe one of our teammates that maybe would have been there. I mean, at times Mbeumo was completely isolated, and then Cunha was completely isolated, so I don't know how much help Sesko would have had. But I think that one thing alone probably would have made at least some sort of a decently big difference. So, Yeah, I kind of like Ligt playing the right center back position, and I think Maguire was good in the center back position, the center back position. Um, so yeah. Axe says this was a weird match. It was. We won. Lucky us. Now let's build the squad and develop a good team chemistry. Well, we just gotta at this moment in time, man. We just gotta build a little bit more momentum, right? We got a little bit more momentum. I think, you know, we're gonna take some positivity into the next match. I don't think we should. I don't think we should get. I don't think the players need to not get complacent, right? But they need to take. It's been a while since we've been able to sort of get some momentum rolling and bring and carrying it on to the next matches. We've been very stop and go, even, you know, all the way back to Ten Hag. It's been very good result, bad result, good result, sort of average result, good result, bad result. So the team has been in a position where we haven't really been able to get the ball rolling for ourselves. Yeah. So I think these things take a little bit of time, but we got to take it step by step. So just next match, improve on some of the things. Maybe we can score a couple goals, and just put in a better performance all around in terms of 11v11 and for 90 minutes. That's sort of what I'm looking for, and obviously win the match and get 3 points. But it was a weird match. It was a weird match. We were a bit fortunate, but again, this is football, man. This is what I've been trying to say. Sometimes you die by the luck, sometimes you live by the luck. It was a bit fortunate for Amorim, but you know, they did deserve the red card. And we got the win. And you know what? It's still early in the season. We're 3 points off of third. We're still there, and anything can happen from this standpoint. You know, anything can still happen from this standpoint. That's why I think it was a bit sort of a bit premature to sort of, you know, the warning signs are there, and I get that if you want to criticize and you want to talk about the warning signs, but I didn't agree with the whole sacking of the manager at that moment in time. There was some of our fans saying sack him now. I don't. I think I think you have to be realistic. It's far too early. There's still a lot of wiggle room. So and things can go either way, even if they're not looking like they're heading in that way. I'm always the person that I kind of feel like I'd rather let the things play out. I'd rather see it play out and how it goes than sort of be rash. In it to a certain extent, you can make arguments. Some people say, you know, you got to be proactive instead of reactive. I get it, but I'm sort of the person I'd rather prefer to see things play out. So. By the way, guys, please smash the like button if you didn't hit the like button. It helps the channel grow and it gets us pushed out there, so appreciate it. If you did smash the like button, thank you guys very much. A lot of good points and a lot of good opinions being made. Chad says, you guys sound like Roy Keane would eat you alive on training pitch if you were footballers. How so? I'm confused by that. It's good to see Axe becoming an Amorim fan. Well, I don't think that's happening. I think Axe is just being not trolly today, yeah? And I think he's just being he's just being not a troll, right? And I think he's given actual opinions, which is what we want from him, because I know he can do it because he's done them before. But sometimes I think Axe is a little bored, and he wants to be trolly. But when Axe is like this, we're all okay, yeah? We all get along a lot better, yeah? X says, Lucky says he did run out of energy. Do you guys think we ran out of energy? Or do you think it was just, I don't know what I chalk that down to. Fox says we were managing the game as we were up to now. I know, I get that part. And it does make sense. And you do want to manage the game. And you don't want to spread yourself too thin. And you don't want to open yourself up to too many counterattacks, because you know Chelsea are going to come with the ball. But I just felt like the balance in the scale, you know, if this is the scale, I feel like you tip it maybe like this at defensively, and I felt we kind of did it like this. I don't think we went, or you know what, maybe like this. I felt like we went like this. And this is all the way defensive, yeah? I just felt like we could have maybe just made it just slightly a little bit, little bit, give us a little bit more, because I felt like we put a lot. Yeah, you wanna manage the game, but I felt like we put so much pressure on ourselves and we played a little bit into Chelsea's hands. Whereas if we still had some sort of an attacking outlet, we could sort of make them think twice about going forward. Maybe we would have exposed them. Maybe we could have got the third and we could have been a lot more comfortable. Yeah. Max says I'm definitely not being a fan, his fan. We know he's joking. He's joking. He was making a joke. I just can't criticize him on this one. We won. Our playing style was bad during the second half. But Chelsea wasn't. I mean, listen, I think there are things to criticize him about. And I think there are things to criticize him about today. I think some of the decisions he made, I would certainly question them. There's some of the things I don't agree with. I think, actually, after he did some of the decisions, I think he was a bit fortunate that it played out the way it did for him, because I think it could have led to... potentially bottling that lead, but it didn't. But I think there are things that you can still call out and disagree with. It's not just because he's won, he's absolved of all things. Just like, when we lose, it's not that he gets all 100% of the blame. Unless he does manage the game into 100% oblivion of his thing. But yeah, Lyle says that that's where we make it difficult for ourselves, Eric. When we take our foot off the gas and allow the opposition back in, we need to kill the games off early. We do. We do. And one of those things was when we still had the man advantage, specifically to that point where Lyle is saying as well. I think you can make more of an argument when we had the man advantage and we were up a goal. I felt like there was a good 10-minute period. I don't know how much time it was, but there was a good amount of period of time where it just... I don't know why we do these things at some times. I understand that we're supposed to be possession-based team, and that's what the system calls for, and that's, how we're supposed to play and retain possession, but there's a way of retaining possession and doing nothing with the ball, and retaining possession and doing something with the ball. And there was just too many times where it was like, we're passing the ball around in the back like we're up 3-0. Like, yeah, we're winning the match, it's 1-0, and it's in the first half, and it's sort of early, but Chelsea were under the cosh. I mean, they were under pressure. They were rattled. And you could see that by when we actually did go forward, and we made ourselves more threatening. I mean, Chelsea were scrambling. And I felt like there was too many times in the first half when we had that man advantage that I felt like we could have seized the opportunity a little bit more. Yeah, even when we got the second, I felt like we could, up until Casemiro got the red. I felt like there was some periods where it's just like we should be moving the ball. We should be more positive with the ball. We should be moving the ball a little bit faster, and we shouldn't really be going side to side at this moment in time with the man up. And when we're not a man up, that same scenario is a problem, because we need to be a little bit more direct and a little bit more forward. I understand we're very far away from Liverpool, but when I was watching the Liverpool Atletico Madrid match, I mean, the directness of them and the quickness and sort of the understanding that, like, we got the ball, put pressure on them, make them feel the pressure, make them fuck up. Don't let them back into the game. Don't let them feel comfortable. Because I think there's times when we actually... We had Chelsea feeling very uncomfortable, yeah? And I think then there's a good 10-minute spell or 5-minute spell where we kind of just sort of relax and we make Chelsea feel relaxed. And I don't understand why we necessarily do that. We shouldn't be doing that. If we're winning 3-0, yeah, pass the ball around and do whatever you want with it, There's no need to really play, because then you're just letting Chelsea, you're giving Chelsea counterattack opportunities or whatever. But when it's 1-0 or 2-0, you want to go and kill off the game. Fox says, I think the players were cautious at 2-0. Some say a 2-0 lead is more dangerous than a 1-0 lead. It is. That's why I literally said it's the worst scoreline. It is literally probably the worst scoreline. And I know that sounds weird and funny because it's like you're winning 2-0, but we all know. I mean, we all watch football. We know what happens when you're 2-0 and you don't actually go get that third. Usually, what happens is the other team gets one back, and now it's a whole nervy mess that doesn't need to happen. Because if you get that third, that's it. Yeah? But if you don't get that third, what happens is eventually, at some point, because it's literally football, the other team gets that one goal back, and now the game is flipped on its head, and you're losing momentum, and you're losing your nerves a little bit, and you're just making it harder for yourself. Andre Santos likes to die as well. He is Brazilian, so, you know. Lyle says, oh, it's an old chant for Tevez. Oh, they use it for Garnacho. No, I wasn't aware. I thought they were saying it to Enzo because he's a prick. But yeah, we'll use it for Enzo. We'll use it for Garnacho. We'll use it for Di Maria too, even though he's about to retire. Yeah, I didn't know. Am I that far behind in the chat? Holy shit. We scored ping pong goals. Champions League level, like I said. No, you said championship. I said Champions League. Now you said Champions League. Not breaking down defenses. You would think with the best creator in the league, it would be easier to slice defenders. Well, I mean, listen, the whole aspect of our team is not good. Listen, let me talk about Dorgu a little bit. How about this? I mean, again, we've seen today Dorgu. I think it's a shame. He does well to get in the forward positions well. His crossing and his passing is like, I don't know. It's like Ray Charles trying to make a fucking pass or something. I mean, I don't know what it is when he presses the A button or the X button if you got PlayStation. I don't know what it is. When he presses the A button or the X button, or the square button and X, to pass or cross, this guy, it's like when he goes to press the button, his vision shuts off right before, and then he can no longer see. Because I don't know who the fuck he passes the ball to. I don't know who he's crossing to. I mean, even the goal, was that the goal? Yeah, the goal that we scored, when he headed the ball and he went to go head it, redirected into the center. I mean, all he had to do was head it across, and he headed it backwards to nobody. And luckily, we still scored from it. But I don't really know how he does that. Garnacho is my boy. Well, that's fine. He could be your boy. I got fed up with him, so I don't like his attitude. I'm not a fan of it, and that's just how I am with players. Doesn't matter who you are. That's just how I am with the players and the attitude. But actually, same with Rashford, who carried Barcelona on the week. If Amorim fails, we also lose them for good. Well, Garnacho's gone. And Rashford is gone. I mean, they're not coming back. I honestly, I don't think if Amorim goes, and I'll explain why. The hierarchy. I think Wilcox, Barada, whether Amorim wants them, or doesn't want them anymore, I think even if Amorim isn't here, I don't think Wilcox, Barada, and the rest of them, I think they had enough of them. So even if Amorim's not here, Axe, I'm like 99% sure they ain't ever coming back. Like, if he gets sacked, I don't think there's a chance that Rashford's coming back, and I don't think, well, Garnacho we sold. So, but Rashford ain't coming back, and anybody else that he kind of pushed out of the team. I think they've made a decision as a group, as a whole, as a football club, that these players and I don't think it was necessarily talent. I don't think that they didn't get rid of Rashford, and they didn't get rid of Garnacho for a lack of talent. They got rid of them for not performing or attitude, mentality, or whatever it is. That's what they got rid of them for. So I don't think Ruben walked in and told Sajim or whoever that Rashford is a prat or some shit, and was like, get him the fuck out of my team. And they were just like, but like, we like him. And Amorim was like, do it. And they were like, okay. I think they made that as a collective deal. So I don't think it's happening. I think they're done and dusted. Lyle says, Garnacho doesn't have a future at Chelsea. Well, that's up on him and him to worry about. Listen, I'm very sort of kind of harsh with these things. I know there's a lot of United fans out there that sort of um they like to follow players after they leave Manchester United, maybe because they like them. I'm not one of those guys. If that's you, that's fine. I'm not criticizing you in any way. That's your thing. I'm just saying it's not my thing. Once you leave Manchester United, I really couldn't give two shits about you in terms of like, I'm not gonna go watch real, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch the teams to see how you're doing. Like, yeah, I'll pop in every once in a while. Like I watched the Barca match. I saw Rashford score the 2 goals. They were 2 very good goals. I'm not hating on him. I'm not wishing ill will. I'm not wishing for him to fail. And I'm not really surprised anyway. I always said I think he needed a new start. And a fresh start, and I think it was good for both teams. And if he does well at Barcelona, he does well at Barcelona. But I'm not going out of my way to watch matches, and I'm not really going out of my way to really pay attention to how good you do. You know, they do good for them. I don't wish any ill will, but I'm also not there with, Marcus Rashford #1 flags or Scott McTominay #1 flag or Garnacho #1 flag. I don't give a shit. As soon as you are no longer actually part of Manchester United, wish you all the best. Good luck. I'm gonna focus on my team and the players that we have on my team. You go do you, and I'll do me. But yeah, Box is the last time Chelsea won in the league at Old Trafford. 8 in heaven was 6. Holy shit. That's a good stat. That might be actually a good tweet. I might steal that from you, Box. Can you put it in the Discord for me so I could tweet it after the show? We do got to do player ratings. We're in, so I'm gonna do that. Let me get to the rest of the comments. Axes, if we lose the next match, I go Jupiter. Now, stop going there. Just relax. Relax a little bit. We got to take it a game at a time. We don't need Jupiter Axe. We don't need Jupiter Axe. You could be upset we lose. I'll be upset too. But we don't need to go crazy. All right? It's one match at a time. It's still early. At some point, we'll have the clear picture, yeah? It'll either be we're doing okay or we ain't doing fucking okay, and it's probably done and dusted. All focus Maguire, Ligt. Axe, how are you saying he needs to be sacked now regardless of this match? How did you just flip-flop in like literally 30 minutes? How did you do that? It won't happen tomorrow. But still, he needs to leave United beyond lucky and easy obtained red cards. How did you just say he still needs to be sacked now? He's not gonna get sacked now. It's too early. It's too early for that. It's too early for that. I think it would be wrong to do that at this moment in time. Maresca and their goalkeeper want us to match. Listen, at this point, again, we take the 3 points, we move on to the next one. Because if we go into the next match and we win, and it's a normal match, there ain't much. You can't say that. So we take 3 points and we move. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. Football is about luck. It's not all about luck, but there is luck involved. And sometimes you get a little bit of fortune and things turn around and positive things start happening. So maybe and hopefully this was one of them. Still very early in the season. We're in a decent position in terms of being 3 points off of the top 4 or third place. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. Bruno has a 6 no more. Well, that one I agree with. And Chad says Bruno is a center forward. That I agree with. I agree with you guys both on that. I still don't like Bruno there. I was a bit disappointed and sort of upset that he went back to Bruno and Casemiro. I would like to see Bruno as the 10. I don't think we're going to see it. I don't think we're going to see it. I think he's made it quite clear that he said he will change when he change, and I don't think he was just talking about the formation. He talked quite a lot about Bruno playing in that midfield position before the match. yesterday when he did the press conference, and I think we're going to keep seeing it there. So all I can say to that is I don't agree with it. I don't like it. For his sake, it better fucking work. You know, that's all you can really say at this moment in time. For his sake specifically, and I guess for us in terms of the football club and for our season, it better work. He better somehow, some way be right about this. He better somehow, some way get it to click, get it to work. For his sake as the manager, but also for the, I guess, the sake of our season. Because let's be real, if he gets sacked, that means that our season is cooked. Yeah? So that means we've gone to a position where our season is basically essentially cooked. So, I mean, for the people that don't want Ruben here, it's kind of, again, I would kind of liken it to a double-edged sword, because I think the way things are going, for him to get sacked, which means that our season is done and dusted, which means that we are doing bad. If he stays, which you don't want, if you're Ruben out, well, that means that we're probably doing okay or good. So, West Ham 1-2, Crystal Palace. Oh, yeah, we got that. Patrick Dorgu, not good. Yeah, I didn't like his performance. I didn't like his performance. Dorgu is a left back, not a left wing back. I don't know if I agree with that, though. In terms of, listen, I say it again, he's a work in progress. I'm not going to give up on the kid, and I think he can become good. He's still young. But he's got to fix the fucking crossing and the passing. Also, the understanding, the chemistry, or I would say lack of chemistry and understanding between him and Luke Shaw on that left-hand side is absolutely abysmal. They are, you know, orange and apples. They just don't, I mean, how many times I've seen Luke Shaw and Dorgu not be able to communicate a 5-yard pass or a 10-yard pass with each other, or Dorgu not going for the ball because he thinks Shaw is going to go for it, and Shaw not going for the ball because he thinks Dorgu is going to go for it, has been too many times already. And they did it again this match, and that aspect on that side is pissing me off, and I don't know what they got to do to sort that shit out. But this miscommunication and this lack of understanding there is going to cost us. I mean, it's probably cost us somewhere already, but it's going to cost us in the upcoming games if we don't sort that shit out. But when it comes to Dorgu, again, he does well to get forward. He can dribble, so that's why I kind of disagree with that he's not a left wing back and that he's a left back, because he can go forward. He does well to go forward. What he needs to improve on, and I think he can improve on because he's young, and if we're going to do our job as a football club, let's develop some players and let's improve them. He needs to add a little bit of sort of skill, a little bit of trickery when he gets into the opposition's final third, yeah, on the side of the box. He needs to add a little bit of, don't be so predictable. They know, you know, he stops a lot of times. They know he's going to cross it, and he makes it easy for the defender to block the ball. He needs to add a bit of trickery in there. Then to build on that, his passing needs to be way better, because, I mean, the fact that sometimes he can't make 5-10-yard passes is beyond me as a professional footballer. I know you're 20, but there's no excuse for that. And then the crossing is absolutely abysmal. Again, it's like as soon as he goes to cross the ball, his vision shuts off. Like, his eyesight is no longer available. So they got to work on that shit. And I think you could probably improve that. Listen, if you can make Bienda kick the ball better, I think you can make Dorgu cross the ball better. And not just to single out Dorgu in terms of crossing, because, again, a lot of players on our team suck at crossing. We, as a team, as a whole, suck at crossing. I mean, even in Buemo, who I know can cross the ball, and I know can put in good passes, today wasn't good at crossing. Bruno wasn't good at putting in crossing balls. Diallo wasn't good at putting in balls as crosses into the box either. So we generally, as a team as a whole, suck at crossing the ball into the box. And we're going to need to figure out, I mean, I would probably, if I'm Amorim, You probably can't afford to do it because there's a lot of things that we need to fix. But I would probably take like about a week or two on just training how to cross, because I just don't understand how we can be a team with professional players and they put in the crosses that they put in. Listen, if you put the cross into an area where it's actually in a dangerous spot and the defender heads it out, that's one thing. That's totally different. I'm talking about when they cross the ball and it doesn't go anywhere near our player. It's not in a good position. And it's just a shit cross. It happens far too often for professional footballers playing in the Premier League. It's quite mystifying to me. So Fulham 3 and Brentford 1. Can somebody please tell me who we're playing in the next match? Because I've forgotten. Are we playing Brentford? Are we playing Brentford next match? I missed a couple chats. Rashford, since he went to Villa and Barca, 26 games, 7 goals. Listen, again, I don't think anybody said that Rashford don't got talent. But he was very hot and cold for us, and it came to an end. Now, if he goes and he plays well at Barca, I ain't surprised. Barca are a well-run team, except for the financials. But in turn, they got Hansi Flick, and it's a different aspect. And it's La Liga. So if he does well there, he does well there. It is what it is. Dorgu, work in progress, is box, yes. Chad says at Lecce, he played left back, but this is Prem. He don't have the awareness to play inside. Well, if you play left wing back, does that mean that you're inverted? You're not necessarily inverted, so does he have to play inside? He just needs to be able... He does well to dribble, and he does well to... he's got the pace for it, and he does well to get into the final third key areas. It's just that the fact that he can't... Sometimes he makes a shit pass, a ground pass, but it's really what's killing him is the lack of creativity when he gets in those spaces, and then also just that his crossing is shit. If his crossing was better, I think we wouldn't be having this sort of conversation on it. And then defensively, he's actually pretty good. I think he needs to work on a little bit of his defending aspect, but X is not true. We still have time to turn things around. A new manager needs time and the opportunity to get into top 8. Yeah, but I can say it. But this is what I'm saying. That's the difference, is that you can make the argument for Ruben. It's still quite early. Now you might not have any faith that that's going to happen, but that is the argument of the coin. Yeah, it's head or tails. There's a 50-50 chance at this point. Because you can make that same argument, Axe, for Ruben. And I get that argument. It's not one that doesn't like... It's not one that's like, what are you saying? It literally doesn't make sense. I get it. But for me personally, I'm the type of person that I like to see things play out. So I would like to see it play out. I would like to see him given the opportunity. Sink or swim. Float or drown. At this moment in time. Fight or flight, whatever it is. Now there are people that say the things that Axe are saying, where it's still very, very early in the season, and a new manager needs time and the opportunity to get in top 8. I think that's fine. I'd rather maybe not do what we did last season and kind of dismantle the whole thing. In the midst of a season, it also depends who's out there and who we're gonna get. Those things have indications. So Ray says good win, but I don't feel where are we going scoring 2 goals against 10 men. Well, we had a half. I think the sentiment of basically all the fans, Ray, is that we should have done more. We could have done more, but it was a very strange game. It was a very strange game with the red card. We got the 2. We definitely could have got 3 or 4 if we did more. I don't think we did enough. And then when we got our red card, and then the second half was just, it was all about game management. And I didn't really like the balance of it. I felt like we kind of completely negated our attack 100% to try and defend a 2-0 lead, and I don't think that's very smart. And I think he, in that sense, because I've seen it not work many times, I think in that sense he was a bit lucky. But also, you know what? The players deserve a little bit credit because they held out and they did a good enough job to get the result. And we criticize them when they don't um, get 3 points or get the W. So they do have to get the credit for holding out. You could still criticize some of the aspects in the performance. And you know what, Ruben, even though I don't agree with some of the things he did, it still worked out for him. So he's got to get a bit of credit there as well, because when it goes wrong, he's going to get the criticism, and so are the players. So can't be hypocritical about that. You got to give it to them both ways when it happens. Yeah. So um yeah, nobody is wounded against us, United. They all play their heart against us. Yeah, that's because of the, we got to change the sort of aspect and feeling around our team. But that comes from us as well. Again, we let off the pressure. We still do it too much. We help the other team relax a little bit. It has to come a little bit more from us, but that probably will come if we can find some consistency. I think the problem is we're obviously way too inconsistent in terms of performances, results, or just anything else. So I think if we find a way to be a lot more positively consistent, the confidence will grow, and I think you'll probably see a lot less of the letting up of our foot off the pedal, which would then in turn allow us to put more pressure on the opposition. So there's a lot of work we still got to do. There's still a lot of work that we got to do. Bruno isn't a camp either. He's a center forward in a 2-forward formation. I mean, to me, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, the 10 center forward, it's kind of the same, similar to me. Yeah, I don't know what's happening, Lyle. With I don't know what Lucky's saying. He's that you're helping Brentford. I don't know. I'm confused too. So Axe's bro Ruben had last season to prove himself. Yeah, and he also has this season to prove himself. That's why he's still the manager, Axe. I don't know what you're trying to get at. He had last season to prove himself. He also has this season to prove himself. That's why he wasn't sacked and he's the manager. And we're 5 games in and we're 3 points off a third. So I don't understand how he doesn't get to continue to prove himself. He literally has the opportunity to prove himself right now. That's the whole point I'm trying to make. Like, stand up or sit down. I want to see it play out. Prove yourself or get out. He's literally here. He's literally the manager. I don't know. So should we just sack him after he won the match today? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. It's weird when we're still in contention and we still have positions to fight for. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. I think if we're sitting 14th and we're like 12, 15 points off of top 6, well, then it's over. Yeah, but I'd like to see it play out. Thoughts on Euro? Well, I think Euro could have done better on the goal that we conceded. He didn't really get any height, and I think he's a bit susceptible or at fault for that goal. But I do think Euro is a good player, and I think he's probably been one of our better defenders. And I was a bit sort of upset that Euro was dropped from the starting lineup. But to be fair, Ligt and Maguire did do good, and actually Luke Shaw did good today as well. Luke Shaw was actually quite good defensively, in much better than last game. He was more aggressive and he made better tackles. So I don't think it was as bad as I guess I felt like in the beginning of before the match started, because I just felt like how do you take out? I actually said how and why do you bench Euro? But you know what? Again, to be fair, I mean that was Amorim's call. I think maybe still he got a bit lucky with it, but he made that call. It worked for him, and also fair enough to the players that were on the pitch in terms of Ligt, Maguire, and Shaw. They did well. They did well, and they got a win. When they had to do their job, they did their job, except for that set piece, pretty much. Except for that set piece, and again, Euro was at fault for that because I think that was his man, and he didn't get any air. I mean, he was beaten in the air. So, was the goal his mistake? I believe it was, Axe. I believe it was. I gotta watch it back, but from what I remember, it looked like it was his guy. It looked like he didn't, react like fast enough. So, I don't know what are you guys arguing about? He's still the manager because Ineos are reluctant to confirm their incompetence by sacking him. But okay, he's still the manager because it's 5 games into the season, Axe. That's why he's the manager. Brentford are 4th from the bottom. Are they really? Yeah, but isn't it tight? Isn't the table tight? It's only about like 3 points separating about like 8 teams, no? Something like that. Mark Harris says Luke Shaw being played when there's a youngster who can play is a criminal offense. Well, I'll give you the reason for it. Whether you accept that reason or not is up to you. I'm not trying to make you change your opinion on it, but actually, you can explain. Somebody can tell me, is Heaven right-footed or left-footed? Because if Heaven's left-footed, then this whole theory is probably shot. But if Heaven is not left-footed, well, Luke Shaw is playing there because he's left-footed. Now, whether you agree with that or not, or you accept that or not, up to you. But a tactical standpoint, Luke Shaw is playing left center-back, and Heaven is not playing left center-back for the same reason that basically every other player, in terms of Euro or Maguire or Ligt, nobody is playing left center-back because they're all right-footed. So you might not like that, but if you're trying to be tactically smart, I guess you would argue you need a left-footed player playing in the left center-back position. And that's why Luke Shaw is playing there, because he is literally the only left-footed back player that we have, besides Lisandro Martinez, who is obviously not back from injury and not available. So, Lucky says Eric Euro didn't do anything in match. What do you mean he didn't do anything? Good or bad? How so? Like, are you saying that in a bad way? Like, he didn't do anything? Or are you saying that he's not at fault? Lyle says Shaw did surprisingly well. I agree. He shocked me tracking down and sliding in to regain possession at some point. And this is what I'm saying. He was actually quite aggressive today. He was definitely, I mean, everybody was definitely better than the match against City, although this match was highly unconventional. But some of the effort levels and even some of the aggressiveness from the players, like Shaw, I think he definitely was just way above what he did last time. And he was way more turned on, and he looked like actually a player that actually, if Luke Shaw played like that week in, week out, I can be 110% behind Luke Shaw. If he was able to consistently do this week in, week out. And so far, somehow, he stayed fit. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, because we'll know what will happen. But yeah, I mean, if he's doing these sorts of performances where it's like just he's executing well, and he's playing for the badge in terms of like, he's going into tackles hard, he's sliding, he's tracking people down, he's running. I want to see that from all our players. Like, that has to be the minimum, and they got to give us that every match. Like, so what I don't want to see is next week when we go to play and I see Luke Shaw playing like he did against Manchester City and shitting the bed. I want to see Luke Shaw playing like how he did today. I want to see the same effort levels. I want to see the same intensity from him and the rest of them. But Um, Heaven is being developed the correct way. He's 18 and only had 5 professional games. I mean, yeah, and this is the other thing. Like, I think we've gone a bit mad or we get a bit crazy with the youth sometimes. And I just, like, even Mano is another one. Like, I understand people are upset about Manu, and maybe they feel like he should be getting more minutes, but he's still young. Like, the guy has another fucking 15 years in his career at the very least. Just because he's not getting the minutes now or he's not starting, I mean, that doesn't mean that that's going to be like that forever. Like, next year could be a totally different situation, or later down along the lines in this season could be a totally different situation than what it is now. And I think that goes for a lot of the players, like, that are these young guys, like Heaven and all this. Um, like, I don't know, this sort of culture in football that it's like, his career is done at Manchester United because he's 19 or he's 20 and he's not playing any games. And it's just like, I don't really agree with that though. Like, back in the day, I mean, you kind of had to fucking earn your place anyway. You're a kid, like, and you had to fight. And I don't really like the fact that it'd be like, oh, I'm not being played. I'm not getting minutes. Now I understand you want to play football, but it's like, I say, you know what? Put up a fight, man. If the manager gives you 10 minutes, go out there and fucking outplay everybody in the 10 minutes that you're given. Diallo kind of did the same thing. Yeah, wasn't it really frustrating when Diallo couldn't really break into the team and Diallo was getting about 5-10 minutes? But he did what I think is what I like, and what I would say is that Diallo would get 5-10 minutes, but he'd make an impact. He'd make it worth it. He'd be like, okay, you give me 10 minutes. I'm about to do more in 10 minutes than the players that you just gave 70-80 minutes to. And he did that like 3-4 games in a row until the manager was like, I have to pick him. Like, it's actually quite a pain in the ass because I'd like to play this player, but how can you not pick him? And it's a bit frustrating because I'm a big Kobe Manu fan. I like Kobe Manu a lot. And personally, I would probably, it depends how he's looking in training, but personally, from the outside right now, I would probably play him and start him, yeah? Because I like him. I think he's a good player, so I would utilize him more. But if it's not happening, at the very least, I'd be like, well, when you get the 5-10 minutes, go out there and fucking do something so you make the manager make you pick him. I would like, I want to see the kid fight. Don't give up. Fight. Like, listen, if it's one thing if we're going in matches and he's getting, zero minutes. And yeah, 10 minutes isn't a lot and it's not great. Especially if you want, like me, I want to see the kid play. I would like to see him get at least a good 25 minutes per match if he's not starting matches. But from a football standpoint, from a trying to, to be a professional, I would argue if he's giving you 10 minutes, you got to utilize the 10 minutes. You got to make the most of it. You got to fight. I want to see you fight. I want to see you fight. I don't want to see you give up. I don't want to see you, throw a bitch fit because you're like, he's only giving me 10 minutes. I should get more. We don't need that sort of mentality at the club. And I'm not saying he has that. I'm just saying I want to see the kid fight for it. I don't want to see him give up. I don't want to see him throw his toys out the pram because he's like, I should be playing 20 or 30 minutes or I should be starting and he's only giving me 10. Just do what we say, what we want from the players. Go on the pitch and do your talking on the pitch. Make some shit happen. Make some shit happen. So didn't show with the header, which led to the. He did. And that was him being aggressive, Box. He did. He went in there, he got the header. And it did lead to ultimately what would be the winner, but it was our second goal. Yeah, to give us a little bit of a cushion. So I missed that at first. Lyle says Heaven didn't particularly have a great preseason, and Ruben protects his young players. Heaven will return. No, I think listen, Heaven is there. I mean, he's there, and I don't think there's any reason to really necessarily rush him right now. If he didn't have particularly a good preseason, he also had the injury last season, and he's young. I think we should continue to build him up in the background while we have what we have going on right now. If something happens throughout the season, like let's say we lose two center backs or something, and we gotta utilize him, then that's his time to shine. Just to come up to the plate, kind of like how we did last season, right? We had sort of a mini injury crisis in the back. We bring him in, and then we had to actually use him, and he did perform well. And we're like, oh, we actually have a player that we could actually bring into the first team squad and be part of the squad. Yeah, he's a squad player. He's not a starter, even though some people would make him a starter, but he's still part of the squad. He's young, and he'll get there. Chad says the difference between a cam and a center forward is that a cam has the license to fetch the ball from the defenders and connect the middle to the attack, where a center forward basically plays in front of the midfield for 90 minutes. Yeah, well, but he's a bit free roam as well, and also with the way we play, I mean, we have 2 10s, but I mean, they kind of go out wide anyway, so they kind of go in and out. So, I mean, for what we're doing, I still think in the 10, he's not going to get in the center forward. So, I did. I did, Chad. I was watching actually some of it the other day. Um it was kind of wild. That was kind of a wild it was a kind of wild knockout. Um yeah. Um what did Lucky say? Eric Manchester United now need to be bit more brave with young players, especially when having the lead. Well, I would like so as well. Listen, I believe that when you have the opportunity and when you can, you should be giving them minutes. I said this last time. I think there was a lot of throughout the years, especially. I mean, I could probably say for every manager, all the way from Van Gaal to current time. I think there was so many times where we were in a match, and I can remember a lot of them because it pisses me quite off. Because you see the kids on the bench, you go into the match, and as of late, obviously, it hasn't been happening. So I understand the circumstances right now at this moment in time is a little bit different. But under Ten Hag and under Ali and under Mourinho, there was times where we played matches where we were actually up 3-0. And instead of putting on one of the kids and giving them a good 20, 30 minutes, we put on some guy that was not performing, that was washed. And it was like, just, this is the match you put the kid in. You're up 3-0. We're home. We're comfortable. We're drying high. We're ready to go. Why you got to put in, I don't know, fucking Sancho, who I seen play like shit 25 times already. I'd rather see, put in one of the other kids. Right now, I think the manager's looking for stability still. I think the problem is that we don't have stability and we're very inconsistent. And you can make an argument and say, well, his experienced players are letting him down. He should go with the youth. I get it. But I can also understand the fact that he's trying to get some sort of a consistency with these players. And maybe it would disrupt it more if you're using less experienced or more inexperienced players. To get some sort of consistency flowing. So I still am the one belief that if he can get the first team to actually be performing good on a consistent basis, I think you will see the introduction of more of the younger players, and I think you'll see them be given more opportunities. I just think he probably thinks and looks at it right now, and he probably still says it's not a good time for them to really be getting pushed into what we have right now, because the experienced players are struggling, and that's his call. Maybe it's a mistake. I mean, other managers have done this in the past. Ten Hag's done it, and he got sacked. It was part of a reason why he got sacked. There was other reasons, obviously. It happened to Ali as well, and it happened to Mourinho as well. I mean, they all sort of relied on these experienced players. These experienced players ultimately, at the end of the day, all let them down, all didn't perform, all didn't get the job done. And it was a big part of a reason why they got sacked. And maybe Ruben is making the same mistake. But it's sort of one of those things that, I mean, unless he actually does it a couple matches, we won't actually know how it would go. You can make an argument for maybe it would make things better, but maybe it would just lead to more sort of inconsistency and not work well at this moment in time. So, we got you. Listen, we look out for everybody here. It doesn't matter the opinions. You don't, again, you guys, nobody has to agree with each other, but for the most part, and I think we do a good job of it. We're human beings, and sometimes, we get aggravated or we get, annoyed by one another or whatever. But I think we actually do a very good job on this channel to try and respect each other for human beings, So I think we do a good job for that. And again, this is a place where I believe that even if you get annoyed by somebody's opinion or whatever, this is a place where I don't believe in shutting out people's thoughts or opinions as long as they're not saying some absolutely heinous and obscene things. First thought would be like, just being racist or something like that, to those sorts of levels. Yeah, we keep the dialogue moving, and we keep this platform open for people to voice themselves, and we look after one another. We look after one another. We're a community. Right? We look after each other. So, I mean, if we could help somebody out, if somebody wants, they ask me for something, I will, always take it into consideration. And I will do what I can. So, and you guys help the channel out, and you help me out by coming in here, providing your time, putting in your thoughts and opinions, liking the videos. So we help each other. This is a community. You reckon Bruno could be a great boxer? Well, what about Rooney? Rooney was a boxer. He got knocked out that one time, didn't he? In the house, there was that video where he got knocked out by his mate. No, Bruno versus Rooney boxing match for charity. Should we set it up? Chad, can we set this up? Chad would like it because he would want to see Bruno get knocked out. Chad's watering at the mouth right now at the idea of Rooney just socking Bruno, with a left hook or right hook, because he's a righty. I think we should Bruno versus Chad. Chad's up for it, probably. Chad's ready to go. He's more than up for that. Chad's foaming out the mouth right now. At that opportunity. Bruno's jab would keep many a long range. His creativity would send opponents dizzy, and his tenacious footwork would send him to victory inside the boxing. I don't know. I think if you put Bruno in the boxing ring, I think all you're gonna see is Bruno just go like this. He's kind of just gonna be running all around the boxing ring. I don't think he's gonna be able to stay in one spot. I think he's gonna literally be fucking everywhere. Axe is out of here. Good night, Axe. See you later, buddy. Be good. Take care. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. We're not going to stream tomorrow. We'll stream on Monday. So if you want to pop in for that, we'll be there on Monday. Chad says he's 6'4". Oh, bloody hell. You're like almost a whole foot taller than me. Can you give me like 2-3 inches off your height? I kind of need it. Your man's is getting done if it was to be me and him. Yeah, I mean, at that point, I mean, if you're 6 for 4, I mean, Bruno is quite fucked in that sense. He's getting slept in one, yeah. Um, Let me switch gears real quick because I didn't do player ratings. So I'm gonna do player ratings real quick. If you want to give me yours, type them out in full. I'm gonna jump through them. But Biende, I'm gonna give him a 6. I think he did good, but just pretty much average game. He didn't have much to do, quite honest. Goal's not his fault. Um, either. Distribution was all right in terms of kicking and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot for him to do. So I think it was a good game for him, but I think it was just an average game in terms of that. There wasn't a lot to go into the game because Chelsea didn't really have, they didn't really threaten him much. So nothing on him. I actually give Ligt an 8. I give Ligt an 8, and Lit's my man of the match. I already spoiled that, but I give Ligt an 8. I think Ligt was really, really good. Really, really good. I think he was literally our best player on the pitch, and I think he showed a strong character and a strong display. And I actually, again, I will say that I think if we didn't have him back there for some reason, I think we would be in big, big trouble in the defense. He's sort of been the rock holding everything down and kind of making up for maybe some of the slack from some of the other players at sometimes. But today he was literally just on top. Maguire, I give him a 6.5. I give him a 6.5, maybe a 7. Nah, 6.5. I give him a 6.5. I mean, he was good. He was good. Slightly above average, but he was good. Again, he showed leadership today. He did well when he needed to do. Obviously the pace thing, like Chad always mentions, but I'm well aware of it as well. And that's why I still get quite nervous from him sometimes because the whole pace thing. There's always that chance, in every match that we play that he does get exposed, but they didn't score from it. And I think overall, for the time that he was on the pitch until he got subbed, I think majority he did well in the match. So, Luke Shaw, I give Shaw, I actually give Shaw a 7. I give Shaw a 7 today. I think Shaw had a big impact in the game, and I think Shaw actually, again, the sort of aggressiveness. He also got the header that led to one of our goals, so I think that was good as well. The aggressiveness and just his defensive duties. I think he did well today, so I actually give him a 7. I think he was slightly above a 6.5. Maz 6. Okay, I sometimes I feel bad giving them a 6 because it's like it seems like I'm not giving them any credit, but listen, he did better than last match, which basically every player did because I mean we were abysmal last match, but the last match he looked quite off the pace. He looked quite rusty. He was much better today. He looked a lot more into it. I think he could still do a little bit better in some areas, playing in that wing back position. But actually, I think he had like a decent cross or two at some point. But there was some points and some moments in the match. Some of his decision making bothered me, in terms of where he was kicking the ball when we were in the build up. So 6.5, somewhere around that range. Yeah, this one is a bit tough, but I think I'm gonna be quite honest. I don't know how you judge this one, but Cass, you gotta give him. I'd probably give him like a 5.5, and solely because, listen, he scored the goal. So you got to give him credit for the goal. And I think he was doing all right before he got the second yellow. But I think, again, for me, I think you can put some of the blame on the manager for not taking him off. But I also, again, somebody of his experience, I expect him to be a bit smarter about it and not do what he did. And I thought what he did was quite dumb. I think, to be quite honest, you know, if Kobe Mainu did that, and I don't think Kobe Mainu would do that, because I actually think Kobe Mainu is quite composed and intelligent about it. But I'm talking about a kid. Like, I would expect like an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old with less experience, like less playing time, less game, match experience to do what Casemiro did. So you gotta, in my opinion, you gotta lower the score for him for that, because it did kind of fuck us. And I think he needed to be smart, and maybe Ruben should have subbed him off. Maybe, maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he would have subbed him off in the second half. And he chanced it, and it backfired. But thankfully, at the end of the day, we won, and we got 3 points. So I mentioned this once before. This is one of those things where we're gonna obviously mention it, and we're gonna talk about it, but the impact of it isn't so great, because we ended up getting the 3 points that we won. If we lost, it would have been a bigger deciding factor, would have been a bigger talking point. But we can address it, and we could kind of move on and move to the next one. But obviously, he's not going to be able to play the next match, so I guess it's going to be Bruno and Ugarte in the midfield. Bruno, for me, Bruno, I give him a 6.5. Maybe a 7. I give I don't know, 6.5, 7. I'm kind of in between. Maybe like a 6 point. What did I say? Maybe like a 6.7. I'll give him, because he scored the goal. He did well. He put in a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and he'd had some very good passage of plays, but then he also had some plays where he made the wrong decisions. He didn't execute well on some of them. I feel like it was very I feel like when it comes to the passing and the decision making, I felt like it was sort of kind of 50-50. But he was way better today, and he got on the goal sheet, and he had in a lot of effort. I'm talking about, like, he was like literally everywhere. He was doing the pressing. He was doing the things in the midfield, tracking down, like what we're supposed to see from him. The things that we're supposed to see from him, the things that he literally didn't do last match. But I just know, and listen, he's the captain, and I just know the reason why, like, I kind of give him like a score in between a 6.5 and a 7 is because I know that he can do way more. Especially when it comes to creation, and picking out the better passes. He can do more. I know he can do more. He can be way better than he was today. So it's not like he was bad. I just know that his level, he can be way higher. So Dorgu for me, between a 6, 5, 5.5-ish. And the reason why I say that is because defensively, I think he did okay. And then at the second half, he was getting kind of cut up and exposed by Reece James, but then he kind of bring it back. He does well to get into, again, the final third of the opponent, but his crossing is shit, or it was abysmal. His passing isn't great. And some of his decision-making as well was poor as well. So he had sort of this... He had some good aspects, but I think he had a little bit more bad aspects. But it's on two different sides. I think defending was like okay, but he had a period where he didn't do so good, but then he did do okay in some defending aspects during the match. And I think he bring it back, but then, he does well to dribble, he does well to get to the final third, but that lack of creativity, the lack of accuracy when it comes to the crosses, and some of those decision-making moments where he kicks the ball maybe passes it to somebody he shouldn't pass it to or something. I can't think of something specific. I just remember there was a few times he did give the ball away, and it was quite frustrating because he didn't take the right similar to Bruno. Like there was a couple, but this is what I'm saying. It's not like I'm singling them out because literally Bruno. So for me, Maz, Bruno, Dorgu, even Mbeumo, Ahmad, and Cunha as well. Like those players, I can specifically remember there was a couple or a few moments in the match where there was different opportunities, and they chose to pass it to one player instead of the other player. Like I can remember specifically, there was one moment where Bruno had the ball and he had Sesko over here, right? And it was a good passage of play. Like we were direct, we were fast. It was one touch, and the ball went. I think it went into Sesko. Then it went back into Bruno. And then Bruno had a choice between Diallo making the run in from behind, and Diallo was center. And all Bruno had to do was pass it and slot it to Diallo. Diallo was through on goal. He was centered goal. And then there was Sesko to the right. And Sesko's making a run slightly away from goal. The angle's a little bit off. And he's got the defender more marked on top of him. And Bruno gave it to Sesko and we lost the ball. Whereas if he slotted it to Diallo, Diallo would have been through on goal. He was through on goal 100%. He was clear, and you expect Diallo to score that goal. And that's just one moment. So these players, it's not just one player. It's a bunch of these players. There are decisions like that are happening throughout the match, and it's frustrating because they are picking the wrong person, and it's frustrating to watch. And they need to sort that shit out. So, Mbeumo, I give Mbeumo. I'll probably give Mbeumo like a 6.7, 6.8 type of thing. I think he did well, especially in the first half. His crossing needs to be better, but he again is. I like him. He's a very good player. I think he's a very good buy. Him and Cunha, I think, are very excellent. He almost scored in the beginning of the match as well. I think he was a bit unlucky not to score. And he's a player that likes to get on the ball and try and influence the game. He doesn't shy away, which is good. We need more of that. I think still some of our players, they still try to burden the responsibility of having the ball and taking the responsibility on the pitch to some other players. He's not one of those guys. Again, some of the decisions he made when he did have the ball in terms of, who he could have passed to, I think, again, it has to be better, just like all the other players. So, but yeah, I like Mbeumo. I think he's a very good player, and that's not a bad score for today. So, Ahmad for me, I'd probably have to give Ahmad. I probably got to give him like about a 5.5. I think he had some good things, but I think he messed up quite a lot today. When he went back into wing back, I think he did better. Not better, but I think he was doing good there. But going forward, he messed up a lot. He was another one actually that the crosses weren't great. Some of the decision making in terms of who to play in or who to play the ball to was wrong, and he got it wrong as well. He did good defensively when he went wing back. Again, this is why I think he can play wing back. He's actually quite good at it. He's quite good at tracking. He's quite good at getting a touch or a foot onto the ball in the defensive position. So I do like Ahmad there. I do like him at wing back. I think he's probably I think he's actually an answer to the wing back problem. I think he can play there quite well. I actually will argue with anybody that he played better at wing back than he did in the 10 today. He played better playing wing back, and he had a better performance, and he had more influence in the match playing wing back than he did 10. I actually think he's better at wing back. I think it works really well. So, but yeah, it was kind of messy from him. He started the season a bit slow this season. So I hope the form picks up for him. Um, Listen, I'm gonna do this, and I don't usually, I don't really do this with a lot of players, but I'm gonna have to give the guy sort of a grace period. Sesko, I'm giving him a 6. And I know he wasn't like so involved in the game, and I think he had the fewest touches on the pitch out of everybody. And I think he should have probably stayed in the match. I think it was a mistake to take him out because I don't think it worked well. And with how many times the ball was given to him, I think he did okay in terms of I liked the whole heading the ball down and kicking it long to him. I think that was working quite well. I think that's something that we should probably continue to utilize going forward. But he needs to be given more opportunities. And the fact that we can't cross the ball to a 6'5" fucking striker that can literally jump and have his legs the height of the crossbar is how do you blame him for this? How do you blame him for that? How do you say he's had a bad game when they don't give him the ball? And again, it sounds like I'm talking about Rasmus Højlund, isn't it? So I mean, this is always the fear, and this was always the problem, and this is the whole thing that I always said about Rasmus, because I think while Rasmus was having a hard time and he was struggling, there was so many times that the service ain't there for the striker. And we're seeing it now with Sesko. The service just ain't there. So I don't know what you want. You know, these people that criticized Rasmus heavily and wanted him kicked out of the club, I don't know what you expect any striker to do if their name isn't prime Cristiano Ronaldo or prime Lionel Messi or fucking Mbappe. And even those guys, they need service. But, you know, Harry Kane, for example, is scoring hat-tricks in the Bundesliga. Do you think, for Bayern, he scored another hat-trick, yeah. Do you think Harry Kane is just fucking dribbling through 4 or 5 players and scoring absolute bangers? No, he's getting service. Because Bayern Munich is making service for their striker, but they're utilizing the striker to let him score goals. Do you think Erling Haaland scores all those goals? Erling Haaland can't do half of any other striker. He can't really dribble. He doesn't have any skill moves, but he scores all those goals because he's given all the service, and the service is executed well. And then I look at Sesko, and I'm just like, well, how do you want me to criticize the guy for not really being involved in the match when it's just like, well, we don't give him the ball, you know? We can't get the ball to our striker. So it's like, how do you criticize the guy? I don't know. I can't criticize him. Plus, I always give the first year grace periods to the guys anyway. So, but the thing is, if it continues this way, this is my point and why I'm going on a rant about this, is because in like 3-4 months time or whatever, who knows where we'll be and what will be happening. But what I'm saying is, if we go down the line and Sesko is on the pitch and he's still having like 5 touches, and having the least touches out of everybody, I don't want to see these people fucking bitching and complaining, talking about Sesko is shit and we need a new striker, when clearly we've already done this 2 to 3 times already, and it's not necessarily the ability of the striker, it's that the team is incapable of creating opportunities for the striker. So the striker, you know, I have a bit of a worry that if we don't figure out how to actually play to our striker and use our striker, we're going to end up in a situation where half of our fan base is going to be bitching and moaning that Sesko isn't it and Sesko's not good enough. Meanwhile, it's clear and obvious that the team has a problem, and it's not the individual, it's the team as a whole. So Lenny, I probably give him a 5.5. I'd give him a 6, but I do have to give him some blame for that, for the goal. Again, I don't think he did enough on that. I think he was slow to react. He barely got off the ground, and he got completely outbeaten in the air on that. And that was his guy. So I give him a 5.5. I'm being a bit generous. Maybe I'd give him a 5. But I think other than that, even when he was on the pitch, I mean, I like Lenny. I think he's a good player, and he did have some other moments, like he made some good efforts to chasing after the ball. There was that one where he ran it down, and he put his body sort of on the line or in jeopardy, because you knew the tackle was coming in, and he went into it, um and made it work. But yeah, Ugarte, I give him a 6. I actually think Ugarte was actually good when he came in. Yet again, these people that they hate Ugarte because he's not Andrea Pirlo. I will never understand these people, but again, I think Ugarte came in, and I think Ugarte did what Ugarte can do, and what he's there for. He breaks up the play. He gets a foot in the ball. I actually think that he probably, besides Casemiro scoring the goal, I actually think he did better in the midfield. Now the situation was a bit different because there was a 3 and it wasn't a 2. So maybe the circumstances were different. But again, I always said from the second we signed him, Ugarte is a little putbull, little disruptor. That's what he does. That's his specialty. Anybody that, you know, it's one thing to watch the player, but when I looked up Ugarte, because I wanted to see before we signed him, like right before or right when we did sign him. I mean, if you go and look at stats, and I'm not a big stats guy, but I don't live and die or breathe by stats. But if you just take a quick look at detailed stats, you would have known before Ugarte held up our shirt that Ugarte is not one for build-up play. Was never his specialty. It's never probably going to be his specialty, and that's clearly not what we bought him for. So these people that hate him because they expect him to be fucking Xavi or Iniesta, it's not him, man. Just accept him and for the CDM that he is, the disruptor that he is. But I think he did quite well when he came in. Kobe, I'll give him a 6 as well. I mean, he had 10 minutes. There wasn't a lot for him to get on the ball in terms of that 10 minutes. And then he did well in the end to keep that ball in and force the corner and make sure that we just held it and ran out the clock. So Cunha, I give him a 6 as well. It was good to see him back. He looked pretty fit. Obviously, he wasn't fit enough, like we speculated, to play more than a certain amount of time. There was a couple things while he was on the pitch. I think one or two times he made the wrong run. One or two times he made, I think, in my opinion, the wrong decision in terms of when making a pass. But other than that, he, wasn't on for too long. He actually had some good efforts as well. So I just give him a 6. Mount, I'll give a 6 as well. And Ruben, for today, I'd probably just give him a 6, to be quite honest, because he won the match. He got the 3 points. I think some of the things he did, I don't really like, and I think it could have went against him. It didn't go against him, so I think he gets to walk away with a 6. And also, the match was influenced by red card. You could take away some points because maybe he didn't sub out Casemiro. I think he made a mistake with the Sesko thing yet again. I think that was I think it was something that it just didn't work well. But he did what he did, and we saw the match through, and he got 3 points. So I don't think you can give him lower than a 6. I think that would be kind of weird. But yeah, man of the match for me, obviously, again, Ligt. So yeah. I'm dropping knowledge. I missed a lot of the chat, so I was not when I was doing this. I was not looking at the chat. I was looking at the list of players. So I'm just trying to find a spot to jump back in. It's 666. He's the devil. Chad. He played at 6. He gets a 6.6. I didn't even know I did that. But if I was smart enough, I would have thought of that. You know, that would have been my original thought, Chad. But I'm not smart enough for that. I didn't piece that together. But yeah. Let's just all right. I'm gonna go back when the stream ends. I'm gonna cut that part out, and we're gonna do this. Yeah, I totally. I mean, I'm so smart. I literally I did that on purpose. I gave him a 6.6 because he played 6. 666 is the devil, and we are the Red Devils, and I got horns on my head. Even though I have my keys here. That was all jokes. Don't send me to hell, please. I don't want to go there. Um, some would argue we're already in one when we're watching United play the way that they've been playing for quite some time now. So, Box says Sesko must be frustrated playing with Dorgu. I think Sesko's frustrated in terms of the team, how the team plays, man. Not just Dorgu. I think literally everybody. Benjamin Sesko, Eric, how many touches did he have? It wasn't a lot. I think he literally had like 5. I think he had like 5 touches the whole game. So I mean, they pulled up the stat at one point in the first half, and they literally said he has the fewest touches, and it was 5. I don't know if it ended 5, but it was somewhere, you know, deep into the first half. So I can't assume he got much more touches than that. Chat says certain people tend to get protected at this club. Fan base is suspect. Well, I mean, listen, there's still too much of this whole player FC type shit, and that's just football in general. Again, I'm always upfront. I'm never not upfront. I tell you when I like players, but I don't feel like I'm one to make excuses for certain players. And I don't have a problem with calling them out when I feel like there is a problem that I feel like needs to be called out. You know, so, but yeah, I mean, listen, the internet's the internet. You got people saying all types of shit. A lot of people just say shit just to get a reaction out of people. I mean, so it's hard to judge in today's world what is real and what is fake. When you see people sort of saying things online or on the internet, about players and stuff like that. I mean, Twitter is kind of a crazy place because you just don't know. You don't really know the person. You don't know the person behind the keyboard. Everybody hides their face. Nobody has to own up to anything. I mean, even some of the YouTubers, right? I mean, they got views to get. They got views to get. They got clips they got to make. So yeah. It's just getting praised for dropping facts. Well, that's what I like to do. So I try my best to do it. Kane also comes to get the ball and build up play. Yes. He does do that. He does. But still, the build-up play only goes so far. I mean, listen, if Kane's coming to get the ball, right, and you get the build-up play, and he's holding up the ball, he's still gonna have to release it at some point, yeah, and he's gonna have to give it back to his teammates. So when he does that, and he gets back into a position that's near the box, if Bayern Munich's teammates was like our teammates and can't get him the ball back, I don't think Kane's going to be able to score. I kind of feel like Harry Kane probably, like, whatever Kane has right now in terms of goals in Bundesliga, and I don't really know because I'm not really watching Bayern. I just know that he scored a hat-trick today. And another one. I think he scored a hat-trick last time. Whatever he's got, he won't have that if he was at United right now because he's just not getting the same opportunities because our team is not producing. Well, we obviously don't play that way, but I'm just talking in terms of you know, chance creation for our strikers. So Haaland has elite off the ball movement. He does, but the delivery at the end of the day still matters, right? I mean, look at the ball that Foden gave to Haaland that time. Can any of our players do that? Can anybody do that? I don't think I've ever seen. I don't think I've seen any of our players do anything like that. And now you might argue, well, Sesko has to make a better movement, but there was at least 2 or 3 times today that I saw where he did make a good movement. He was in a good space, and we chose not to give the ball to him. We gave the ball to somebody else, which for me was the wrong decision because they were not in the best position. When Sesko was in the best position, the ball didn't go to him. And I know how that is because, well, you're going to laugh at this, but not this first part. You're going to laugh at the second part, but that's happened to me in real life on not a professional level, but it's football is football. And so I know how it feels when you make a good run and you don't get the ball, and then you're in a position that you yourself know is not the best position, when you're literally mentally talking to yourself and you're like, fuck, I wish I was in this position, and then you get the ball, and then you're literally in the match, and you're literally basically like, if you don't say it vocally, you're in your head just like cursing at your teammates because you're like, you fucking assholes. Like, I was in a good position before, you didn't give me the ball, now you give me the ball when I got this guy on top of me, or I'm not in the position I want to be because of how the play played out. And it's like, now you give me the ball. It's like, you didn't give me the ball before. And if that happens 3 or 4 times, well, it starts getting in your head because you're like, dude, why can't they give me the ball when I'm fucking here? I'm making the run. I have the space. I want the ball in this specific space, and they don't give it to me. They give it to somebody else. Then when I'm in a bad position, then they want to try and give me the ball, and now I'm losing it, and I'm getting frustrated. And the reason why I said you're gonna laugh at the second part is because this shit literally happens in if you play EAFC, it happens as well. If you play pro clubs and you play with some of your teammates in pro clubs and they're not very they don't got no ohos, they don't got the vision, yeah. You make some runs and they don't give you the ball and you probably threw on goal, and then they want to give you the ball when the guy is literally like marking you. So I know it's not real life, but similar concept. But I figured probably somebody's gonna get a laugh out of that because they're like, he's talking about a video game. Still applies. I don't give a shit what anybody says. People want to talk down about that because you mentioned video games. Still same concept. Lucky says, Eric, we don't need to sell Ugarte. His role can be a tackler and push the ball up. I agree 100%. I don't think we need to sell Ugarte. I think we can actually use him. Actually, I think he could probably do the job that Casemiro probably can't do. The only thing is Cass is maybe better in a build-up sense. I would say that Cass is probably better in a build-up sense than Ugarte when you compare it. But I think Ugarte in a defensive role can fill Casemiro's role, which is we're going to see that next week because Cass can't play because he got 2 yellows, so he's going to be out. Ugarte is that player between the ball carrier or creative midfielders in the defense, meaning in a midfield 3, he would win the ball and pass it on. Yep. And I think that's what he was for, right? Because technically, under Ten Hag, we were playing with the 3, yeah? So that's what he was supposed to be. That's what he was. Now, obviously, we kind of changed it because we're playing with the 2. So, yeah. Grace is here, says, are we all Amorim now? Well, I was never Amorim out. So, I don't know. You kind of missed it, Grace. I mean, Axe was being, I don't know what the word is. Axe was being Amorim adjacent, Amorim subtle. I don't know. He was, yeah, he was being a bit soft on Amorim, and then all of a sudden, like 35 minutes later, he started talking about him needing to be sacked again. So I don't know what happened. I don't know what changed, but I think it was Box. I think it was Box joking and making fun of him and saying that he was Amorim in now. And I think Box got under his skin a little bit and drove him a bit crazy and drove him back to being crazy Axe, demanding for basically executions. I want Kobe Mainu at 74 minutes. Yeah, I think Kobe should probably be getting at least a good 20-25 minutes. So I mean, again, this game, again, it's one to hard to judge all over because of the way it went, and I think even with us being a man down, the changes that he made, um, I don't know. Maybe you can make the excuse that because of the situation of the game, Kobe only got 10. Maybe it would have got more. I mean, we'll find out next week, won't we? So, um, we're all behind Amorim. Well, most of us are. No, I don't know if I don't know if everybody's behind him, but I'm one of the few real ones. Well, thank you. I try to be. I try to be. I pride myself on that. But you know what? At the end of the day, in this sort of this sort of society and world we live in, it's not one that apparently gets you very far, I guess. But I'd rather have my self respect than be a sellout. So, chat, listen, Eric, he will got you. Nah, Box isn't a bandwagon fan. Kane creates for himself as well. Haaland is more dangerous running with the ball. Also, has more confidence than Sesko. Well, yeah, right now. I mean, listen, I'm just saying in general for Sesko. I mean, we're only 5 matches into the season. The guy just came into the Premier League, and he's also 22. Also, he's playing in a team that is still sort of a mess and still trying to find itself and trying to be consistent. So it's not the same circumstances. But what I'm saying is the fact that I'm seeing the same thing that was happening with Rasmus happening with Sesko. I think some of the people need to realize that you're not gonna see a striker. You're not going to see a striker succeed or grow or develop or play or be as impactful as we need them to be unless we sort out the team aspect. Because again, I don't really believe in coincidences as it is, but if you're bringing me one striker and that striker is now gone because he wasn't good enough, and you bring me a different striker who's supposed to be way better than him, according to the many fans out there. And I'm seeing the same thing happening to this guy, and they're two different people with two different builds, and they literally are they're two different types of strikers as well. And I'm 5 games in, and I'm watching the same thing happening to him, and this thing has gone on between 2 different managers as well. I just don't want. I just hope some of the people that put 150,000% of blame all on Rasmus Højlund, maybe they wake up a little bit and they put a little bit less blame and they don't do the same to Sesko. Because clearly it's a team issue. Clearly, for a lot. I mean, is Sesko perfect? No, he's 22. He's got a lot to learn. He's got a whole nother like 10 to 12 years in front of him. He's going to develop does he have to develop more of his game? Sure. But when the same things are reoccurring with 2 different people and 2 different managers, clearly something is wrong with our team in there. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Lyle's out of here. See you later, Lyle. Thank you, buddy, for being here. Appreciate it. I got to wake up early, so take care. Well, we'll talk. We'll see you on Monday then. Axe has penned his first book. Lucky says, my only worry was watch way to close down space. You lost me there. I don't know what you... Oh, Neto, Noni, Madaweki. Yeah. Chad says, Eric, so you think that scouts should be using EAFC as a scouting tool? No, I do not say that. I swear that there are so many players bought by other teams that I have in my manager mode. Shit really gets to me. maybe we should. Maybe we should, because apparently we're not good at scouting. Chad. Apparently we're not really that. I mean, in the past, right? Especially pre-Ineos, we were really shit at scouting. Yeah. So you know, and there's been jokes that Todd Bowley has been using Football Manager to basically, he just types in Football Manager Wonder Kids top 50, and he's basically been trying to buy all of them. So, you know, if you're shit at scouting, maybe. But no, we shouldn't actually be doing that. Although I will say, listen, EAFC is one thing. I will say though, they're not going to get everything right, yeah, but Football Manager, they actually have like a system of, and they actually have like scouts that actually, they actually do proper scouting. You know, EA Sports Vancouver, Canada, they don't watch football. Those guys don't watch football. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. Their ratings of players and you know are abysmal and stuff like that. They don't know. But Football Manager, I will give it just a sliver. I mean, it is a video game, so you can't say like, oh, because this player is going to be a super, because he becomes a superstar in the game, he's going to be a superstar in real life. But they actually have real scouts, so they have a little bit more credibility in the bank, is what I'm trying to say. Actually, you know what? There was that story of that kid that took over that. I don't know. They were like some non-professional team in some country in Europe, and he made them. You know, it took him, I don't know how many years in the game. It took like 10, 15, 20 years. Football Manager, like inside the game, and he managed to make them win the Champions League, and they actually hired him for that. He got a real life job at the club that he used, and I think it was like his hometown club or something. And they gave him the actual job. I don't know how it's been going, but I don't know how that's gone for him. But yeah, Chad, you could be the next manager. Chad's gonna be. Grace is gonna be my manager once they put out Football Manager 26. I'm gonna create Grace. I'm gonna make her my manager. And we're gonna win the quintuple in the first season as United. And we'll play the formation she wants as well. When we're playing with the when still practically had two mids only because Bruno was never in the mid. Remember McFred? Yeah, McFred was I actually don't want to remember McFred. Grace says EAFC 26 lost 2-0 to Arsenal and 1-1 to Fulham. This formation is poo. Well, listen, I mean, if it's not your football though, Grace, yeah. If it's not your football, if that's not what you play, then you shouldn't be playing it, Grace. It's not gonna go well for you. Like I don't play the 3-4-2-1. I don't play it. It's I don't necessarily, you know, it's not for me. I play 4-1-2-1-2 narrow. I can always play a 4-4-2, or I can't really use a 4-3-3. I'm not really good with it. It doesn't match well with me. When I play a 4-3-3, I play like shit. I don't really know how to utilize it properly. The 4-4-2 I could use, and 4-1-2-1-2 narrow I could definitely use. 4-2-2-2 I can use that as well. And then the other ones are sort of iffy. I could use a 4-2-3-1 as well, but I always find the 4-2-3-1 quite boring. I told you guys last time I'm a two-striker kind of guy. I like to have two strikers. I like to be very attacking. I like to score goals. So 3-5-2 is quite hard to play as well, especially if you play online against other people. It's quite hard to play in the video game. So yeah. Chad says I like Sesko, but he's in my third team in my manager mode. Is he really? He's in your third team. Who do you got? Well, who do you got in front of him? Who you got in front of him, Chad? Grace wins less games than Amorim. Grace out. Grace is getting sacked. Grace is gonna get sacked. Grace is getting sacked. Grace is getting sacked in the morning. Lucky says Eric, Brentford have one injured player for visit Manchester United. Did they really? Who is it? I don't know who it is. Do you think Osimhen would have the same problem, Eric? I think so. I mean, if I seeing what I see right now so far, and I think this is because it's carrying over from last season. and probably the season before that as well. Um, Temporarily, yes. Now, if the chance creations improve and he doesn't score, um, and also he probably needs to get a better understanding of his teammates as well. But from what I see right now, in terms of just what we're doing with deliveries, in terms of crosses, I think there should be a lot more crosses that should be a lot more near him. He should probably be getting a lot more opportunities of that, or at least chances are coming close to getting on the ball with his head. Um, and I think they need to. I just feel like probably with Osimhen it'd probably be similar. Like I don't know. Like here's my thing, but basically what I'm trying to say and what I'm trying to get across, the point I'm trying to get across is, like, let's say, like, the way we're playing right now and the way we do chance creation and play with our striker. If you were to say you expect Osimhen to get, I don't know, 25 goals in a season, yeah? The way we play, I think he'd probably end up getting like 14 or something like that. Like, I don't think he would probably be reaching the highest of highs with the way we play right now. So he would score. I would believe he would score Osimhen. Um, and even somebody like Gyökeres. But I just think the way we play as a team, our end product is still very bad. And the end product and the final third passes and the final balls need to be way better. So that our striker can, even if he's getting a tap in, man, a goal makes a world of difference for a striker. And for him coming in from the Bundesliga, not really having a preseason with us, right? He missed the whole thing. And having getting adjusted to a new league, being sort of on the younger side, I think it's making things more difficult. On top of the fact that we also don't do well with final third passes and final balls. Now, Osimhen is more experienced. Even somebody like Ollie Watkins, I'll tell you this. Even somebody like Ollie Watkins, yeah, who's adjusted to the Prem and is I guess Prem proven, if you want to say, and he scores goals. I mean, if we got him, I still think maybe he would have he would have more goals than Sesko right now, but I don't even know. I can't even really make that argument because I just feel like Sesko hasn't had a lot of chances that I can really remember so far. There's been like 2 matches he hasn't started as well, and he's come on as a sub. So I just feel like I'm trying to think like what Sesko has received in terms of opportunities in the matches so far. I just feel like I can't see Osimhen really having any more goals. I can't really see somebody like Ollie Watkins having any more goals with the way we've played, with the way we've, done things on the pitch at this current moment in time, 5 matches in. You know, I mean, he has 0 in the Prem, yeah? Or he has 0 in general. Like, maybe they would have 1 or 2. I can't see them. I can't see somebody saying, well, in 5 matches, if we had Osimhen, he'd probably have like 4 or 5 goals in 5 matches. I don't think so. Not with the way that we're playing. Not with the way that we're creating chances. So I think from the team aspect, I think if we can improve, because I want to see. The thing is, I would like to see Sesko getting as many opportunities as possible. I would like Sesko to be having. Well, he needs to get on the ball more, but I would like Sesko to be having at least like 5, 6, 7 good opportunities a match, whether that's from heading or shooting or whatever. So, um, yeah, Keith Andrews. Grace isn't happy. She said I would make a great manager, you buncher. Well, then don't get sacked, Grace. Turn it around. You got a loss and a draw. You got to turn it around. Send us the updated record later in the Discord. We'll be waiting. We'll be waiting. Send us some clips or something. Some gameplay. Turn it around. Turn it around, Grace. Turn it around. Get us playing. Be better than Amorim. Win us the league. Chad says games are more like simulations these days. Speed can be measured accurately on FC, so then I can see who is the fastest guys and then go scout them. That I would do. Yeah, I still wouldn't trust the AFC though. They don't watch football. I would trust FM though. They have real scouts. EAFC I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them. Show some grace. You're beating Burnley 3-0 at 27 minutes. All right. Who scored? You're playing right now. Gonzalo Ramos, Rashford, LOL, Ayoze Perez, and Joaquin Carrera. You got Gonzalo Ramos. See, I don't even like him. And you got Rashford still in there? You've kept Rashford there. See, I can't do that anymore. As soon as I like to update it to real life, and then I like to do my own additions, right? So what I do is like I'll start, and I'll be like, okay, well, like obviously it's updated now, yeah. But before it got updated, like my FM24 save, which is with the old squads, I like to update it so like for me, I'm like Rashford's gone, so I literally get rid of Rashford. And whoever else, anybody that's on loan, I'm like, yeah, you guys are pretty much done. I'll go with that, and then I'll start building on top of what we have. Dad's getting sacked in the morning. But yeah, listen, guys, we're gonna get out of here. It's been a really good show. I've enjoyed it thoroughly. We had a good discussion. And yeah, we're happy with the 3 points, and we can actually enjoy our weekend for once, and not have it being ruined by United. So, you're actually undefeated in 6 seasons. Well, what difficulty you're playing on? That's gonna tell us everything. What difficulty you're playing on? But yeah, it's been a really good show. Thank you guys. I appreciate every single one of you as always. Big shout out to all of you. Thank you to everybody that smashed the like button. Thank you to everybody that's been carrying the show and getting involved, and a lot of really good points. And I think actually today, we did have a lot of good discussion, like a lot. Not that we don't have good discussion, but today we had a lot of good points by a lot of different people. And it was a very good mixture of people getting involved. And throwing in opinions, and it wasn't really so. Sometimes, sometimes our show gets very carried by one person, one or two individuals, which is it's fine. I don't expect everybody to be so super heavily involved, but I do enjoy these when everybody sort of carries the weight together and balances it out. So yeah, that was good. Grace telling Chad to get off of amateur. Ran home with the ball when I came to play the field. Well, if it's my ball, I'm taking the ball. Only because I don't trust people. Because you know what happened to me one time. I let them. I had to go home. Yeah, and the rest of them didn't have to go home, so I let them. I let them just use the ball because I wasn't trying to be that guy. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be that guy, and I never saw that fucking ball again. So that was the last time I did that. I learned my lesson. Like, you could use it when I'm there, but when I gotta go, too bad. Go ask mommy or daddy to get you a ball. Don't rely on me. Yeah, it was the last time I saw that ball. So I told you that's why I have a bit of a hard time trusting people that I don't know. Well, I used to. I trust more people now, but I'm a bit cynical when it comes to a lot of things. Chad's on semi-pro. He's on world class. That's my level. Yeah, I go right now. I'm on world class because it's a new game. And I need to get used to the feeling. But I could probably bump it up to legendary. Ultimate is just disgusting. And anybody that plays on Ultimate is literally like a freak of nature, because like Ultimate is just like. Dude, Ultimate is just like, you don't even touch the ball. Didn't even make a mistake. Like, I don't even know how you play on Ultimate. It's like, it actually gives me a headache. So, and I'm sure there's people out there that can play on Ultimate, but Ultimate is just, it's just like, dude, it's like, what am I doing to myself? Why would you do that? Chad says I can't play anything but legendary. They say no hater is living a better life than you. 6 seasons undefeated on legendary. Yeah, that's kind of wild. Well, wait, did he say that he was undefeated? He's undefeated in 6 seasons on legendary. Six seasons undefeated. He didn't lose once. I mean, I wouldn't really expect to lose either, but you know, FIFA's full of shit as well. So, there's always some DDA involved. There's some game scripting going on. Cuz I'm pretty good myself. I mean, I play Ultimate Team and I literally am always like in Elite Division in Ultimate Team. So, I could probably succeed on Legendary, yeah. But I don't really play a lot of offline. That's what I'm saying. Like Manager mode, I used to play Manager mode, but I don't really play it anymore because I use EAFC to play online, like Ultimate Team, Rush, or Pro Clubs, with my friends. And then if I want to go do like a manage save, then I use Football Manager. I enjoy Football Manager way more for like a manager thing because it's just so much more in depth. I know you can't play, but I get pretty bored playing against the computer anyway. I used to be a highly competitive person and like I just can't play the computer. So yeah. I bought a left mid from Strasbourg, Diego Morera. Yeah, I know about him. I wonder if Amorim plays EAFC. Maybe he does. I mean, he's young enough. He's not like one of the older guys. He's not an unk. He's not an unk. He's young enough that he probably would. So, no, yeah, it's against AI. Yeah. Do you know how easy it is to do skills on the game if you know how to do them in real life? No, I mean the skill moves are easy. If you know them. Gray says a new feature is not being able to renew contracts. The player has to send you an email about it, and Euro has a release clause, and I can't get rid of it. So if a club activates it, I'm screwed. Grace, I think that's a glitch. I think that's a glitch, Grace. I don't think that's a new feature. I think it's something that's not supposed to be happening because I saw the EA Sports account on X on Twitter tweet something out about that players were like leaving the clubs and there wasn't anything you could do about it. And it was about renewing contracts. So I don't know if you have X or not, but if you don't have X, at least go on Google and Google that and see if what I'm saying is what you're talking about. Because I didn't really look into it too much, but I think what you were saying, I think that's what they were talking about. And I think they have a fix for it or a workaround. So if you want to try and fix that for yourself, Grace, I got a message from EA about the club selling players that aren't happy if you simulate through the. Oh, maybe that's what it was. Yeah. But that's stupid. But then that's stupid. That's so stupid. If it's that you can't renew the contracts. The player has to send you an email about it. What does that mean? This is why I'm saying don't trust EA Sports, man. They don't know football. How can you have a manager mode where you can't renew a contract? You have to wait for the player to email about you. That doesn't work like that. Nonsense. Yeah, but see, this is why I want to do the Twitch thing so that we could actually like have conversations and streams like this because then I could literally stream and talk and play We could do it for hours. And on Twitch it doesn't matter. YouTube, they literally hate me for doing 2.5 hour shows. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of here though, because I gotta go. I gotta eat. I didn't eat. It's late here. It's late for you guys as well. You guys are gonna be going to bed soon. Well, you might stay up because it's Saturday night. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go take care of some things. I need to eat. So shout out to all of you. Appreciate and love every single one of you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for your time as well. Like I always say, you don't need to be here. You choose to be here. So I always will forever greatly appreciate that. It does truly mean a lot. So shout out to all of you. We're going to take the day off tomorrow because for American reasons, it is NFL Sunday. And we're going to be watching, well, I'm going to be watching football all day. And I'm going to be with the friends. So I'm going to take that day off. And then Monday, we will be back. And we will be doing a show on Monday, 8 p.m. or 8 p.m. Around 8 p.m. I'll keep you updated in the Discord, but around 8 p.m. BST, British Standard Time. We'll do a show tomorrow on Monday. Sorry, we'll do a show on Monday. So shout out to all of you. I'll see you later. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good. Can you score from the kickoff? You can. Especially online, you can score from the kickoff. Yes, it's still well and alive. And defending is way hard on online. It's way hard. So, yeah, but everybody have a good weekend. Be good. Enjoy your the rest of your Saturday nights. Enjoy the rest of your enjoy your Sunday, and we'll see you Monday. Be good. Take care. Maybe we'll speak a little bit in the Discord as well. Stay safe. And yeah, we'll catch you later. All right. Stay safe, guys. Be good. Thank you for everything.